to another exciting and informative edition of the Love Power Show. Call somebody, because we're screaming loud and sparing none. Because we have guests who are interesting, exciting, knowledgeable, and thought-provoking. Call 327-2500 today. Is that right, Isaac?
Right.
327-2500. Get on that line today, because here's what we do here today. We provide leadership. We discuss all of the relevant issues, everything from the sublime to the ridiculous. We make the sublime clear. We make the ridiculous make sense, because we take positions, define and defend those positions. We offer analysis, examinations, and leadership. We provide solutions to problems that the African American community may be facing, and we are facing some problems, and we'll get into those issues today. But first, I want to say something about my cousin Betty Y. Rowe. I want to say that from the Referral Center, Inc., she's a fully licensed, and your connection to real estate brokers in Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Georgia, and Alabama. All of your referral needs, if you're thinking about buying or selling, investing in real estate properties, call Betty Y. Rowe at 901-323-8003 or call the office at 901-725-5666. All right, Omar Booker, Doc Alsabrook, Tatum, Al Hentro, 901-327-2500. And grab a line right there. Jerome Urian, I've been reaching out to you. We want to talk to you today about your book, More Than Motown. Grab that 2500 line. Now we are on, for those who may have missed a couple of shows, we were talking about Dr. Boyce's paper, the 27 ways that African Americans are brainwashed from birth. And I can see how that leads up to where we are today. All of the police, the killer cops, Talut, and how we sit back and say nothing and do nothing. Not everybody, not all of us, but the mass majority of African Americans have a problem. And today we are going to delve into that problem as deeply as we can today. And let's go back and do a recount, Talut, of number 19. Believing that you're only supposed to pray, march, and be peaceful every time your children get slaughtered by whites. What does that say, Talut? What is that about?
Actually, that says that we're no different today than the people were at the turn of the century when lynchings were taking place. See, our people are being lynched today. See, most of us think that a lynching is somebody hanging from a tree. No. That is not the definition of lynching.
Okay.
Lynching is a mob of vigilantes taking the law into their own hands, beating and killing people at their own will without having to face justice. Okay? That's a lynching. So when those police officers who shot into that car numerous times and one jumps up on top of the hood and fires into that car, that's a lynching. When you see officers putting people in chokeholds and killing them, lynching. When you see the cop beating somebody and just beating them, lynching. We got to get out of the idea that this is something new. It is nothing new. It is lynching as it was in the turn of the century and now today. Same exact action. Don't think that most African Americans were killed by hangings. Many more of them were killed by beatings, by mobs, just beat to death. Some of them were beat and then beat to death, burned, and then hung from trees.
And don't leave out the part about the body parts being put on display.
Body parts being
families coming out on Sundays.
Yes. So we're seeing the same thing over again. And there has to be some type of appetite for this in those people. It's a bloodthirsty type people. They want to consume black people's bodies and blood, but it's a spiritual thing for them. They may not cut you and drink your blood, but in the end, these people have a mental problem, and the mental problem goes way back. There's an appetite in these people to see your black flesh cut, bled, burned, beaten, shot.
Okay. Thank you, Talut.
Yes.
A couple of things, and I want to go to you, Omar. When I'm talking about white supremacists, I'm not talking about Dave or Dr. Wanda Rushing or Michelle Coffey. I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about good people.
Right.
I'm talking about bad people. I'm talking about those who are, when I talk about Christianity, and those who are confused and are suffering from this mental freeze that causes them to genuflect and not act in a positive direction. Those are the kinds of people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about ISIS. All right, now, Omar, help us to understand number 19. Shall I read it again? All right. Believing that you're only supposed to pray, march, and most people don't even know what a march is. But anyway, and be peaceful every time your children get slaughtered by whites. Now listen, this is from Dr. Boyce Watkins. Omar.
You know, the religion of Christianity that we were given as slaves is synonymous to a religion of insanity. That you would just forgive your enemy and pray for those who spitefully use you. Your nature tells you that it's in your nature to defend yourself. It tells you that survival is the first law of nature. Every animal is trying to survive, and it will do whatever it has to do to survive. Mm-hmm. And a mother and a father have an instinct in their nature to protect their children. You are going against your own nature when you allow somebody to come and take their life, brutalize your family, and then you do nothing about it.
Right.
Only in slavery, where you're not allowed to do something, and now that we are in another form of slavery, we're still not allowed to do anything about it. Mm-hmm. I believe, and I'm a former Baptist Sunday school teacher turned Muslim, but I'm a Baptist Muslim. I believe in an eye for an eye. I believe in a tooth for a tooth, and I believe in a life for a life. And I believe if a police officer kills somebody in the community and they are found guilty, they should be killed themselves. They should not be put on in prison for life. They should not be given shorter sentence because they are community serving. I think they should die, and they should die expeditiously, somewhere in the next 12 to 24 months. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't feed them forever. You got that kind of food to go around. Mm-hmm. Get rid of them. Okay. And the same thing with other people that do that same thing in our community. They got race crimes, and they killed us because of their racial hatred. They should not be put in prison for life. They should be executed as soon as you can get the electric chair warmed up.
Okay. Now, and feel free to make a comment about any one of these, past or present. If you can think of one that we looked at before, you can have me reread it. I love to read. Now, number 20, Lonnie, I want to put this one to you. Delivering your prayers to a big white Jesus who will solve most of your problems for you as long as you give money to the pastor. Mm-hmm. What does that say? Let's see if we can get this here kind of thing. That's good right there.
I agree with the brother Baruti. You know, that form of religion that we have been taught and not actually learned ourselves. You know, it's been thrown out there on us, and we've been forced to suck it in. So we have majority of our people still bowing and praying to this white Caucasian that does not reflect any of the present day ideologies that they have on this character is not the original. And so it's whitewash. Everything is whitewash. From my understanding, from my research, even the name itself. So, okay, for instance, the name Jesus, from my understanding, that even in the original 1611 edition, there was no letter J, so there was no Jesus, period.
Right.
And coincidentally, the first slave ship brought over here was named Jesus, that had our descendants on that. And then we're taught that if we don't believe in the name of this Jesus or this whitewashed being, because like I said, by nature, our first God is our mother or whoever we're associated with. And for us to be forced to love a whitewashed being that does not represent our need, for example, how the scriptures used to be in slave times used out of context. So the part where Jesus was to say, servants love your master, that was taken out of context, and now we have the slave owners telling the slaves, hey, here in the Bible it says, love your master, so whatever I do to you, if you don't do it, then your God will not bless you. So it's best for you to obey your master. So in the minds of the slaves, that's contradiction, or that is their life. So, and that tradition is passed on from generation to generation. So now we have today these same teachings, that passive teaching where you still are to love your master. And today our master is our oppressors. And our oppressors are these Europeans that have, from the time we have encountered them to today, have caused us nothing but problems. So to me, I just believe our people just need to continue to research and research for your own, and not just go by what these preachers or pastors are feeding us.
Do we have a call on the line?
Yes, we do.
Who's calling? Sound like I'm at home.
Go ahead, call you on there.
Hey, brother, how you doing? This is Brother Booker.
Yes, sir. Glad to hear from you.
Glad to hear from the show, and peace be to everybody there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can wonder, I understand why a little 120-pound white boy walked into a holy church and seeing those sisters could detect the devil there, but they didn't. They were overtaken by that image they were raised up on. We are the most loving and forgiving people when it comes to white. What would be the action taken if a young black man would attempt to come into a white church and sit down? I know he'd be checked out, wouldn't he? He would definitely be checked out. Now, some of the members and relatives had already forgiven him before he had been indicted.
Yes.
I mean, even if a black guy had walked in there and maybe saying or something like that, he would have been checked out too. But we so loving and forgiving the white people. I think they arrested him without any struggle. They didn't throw him around. They said it was nice to later on, brought him some hamburgers. That's real neat, ain't it?
Yes.
That's real neat, ain't it?
Yes.
But if you run, you're shot in the back. If you stand still, you choke to death. And it's like that you were saying about that, the white police that played cowboy got on the front of the hood and shot him to kill those people.
And said a prayer.
You know what the alibi? They thought it was a backfire. The backfire from the car. They thought somebody was shooting. So they have some kind of weak alibi, and they always try to justify what they do. Let's see, maybe he went to juvenile court and so and so. Maybe he stole a candy bar. And then they blow that out of proportion. See what I mean?
Yeah.
First thing they do is demonize the victim. And,
Okay.
thank you for taking my call.
Hey, thank you, Omar. Listen, that guy you're talking about said a prayer to Jesus in court, and he got off. And that same sensibility is not afforded to African Americans. You know how they do that. What is that prayer they do across down the head, across the cheek, and all whatever that is? Yeah. What is Catholic? It is Catholic, right?
Yeah.
From now, hold on just a second. You said something, Lonnie, about forced, and that ties right into the whole indoctrination process. That individual who you were talking about, that was John Hawkins and the good ship Jesus, who I think made several trips to and back from Africa. Deliver us. We have another caller?
No, sir.
Okay. To and from. Go ahead, Lonnie, real quick. I want to go to Jeffrey. Go ahead.
Real quick, for example, you know, I asked the question, what color is burnt bronze? Because in the scriptures it gives a description of the feet of the Messiah, right? And even a minister or preacher once told me that that's a white color. So I'm like, do you know your girl? Okay, so, but my point is to show the love of the darker races is not there, you know, by the ones that are teaching this ideology or this doctrine. And the importance of that is because if they're teaching you to not acknowledge the darker races and to have reverence for the white race, then right there, that white supremacy teaching right there is still being carried on to our ministers. And today, they won't even acknowledge that the children of Israel, all the prophets and even the people of the scriptures are black people, are dark races, you know, but the way it's been brought about in the churches, you know, you as a child today, they still thinking of the images that's in the coloring books. You see what I'm saying? So that psychological wordplay and all of that.
Psychological damage. That ties into this very next one here. It says, looking up to historical figures like George Washington, and we've all heard about that probably since the first grade. George Washington, who put our ancestors in chains and probably raped them, according to Dr. Boyce Watkins. He says, African Americans look up to figures like George Washington, who has done great harm to our people. African Americans, Jeffrey, is that right? And this is part and parcel of the indoctrination. Dr. Boyce Watkins points out how far this goes back and how deeply it is entrenched in our psyche.
Right.
Jeffrey.
Right, and I'm gonna come to that particular point here in just a moment. But
Okay.
Just to start off with what's been said already, and actually, I was actually in the sanctuary when I heard that minister say that Sunday. What Lonnie was saying, the color of burnt brass, and let me just add to that. That wasn't a white minister that said that. It was a black minister and a predominantly black church who made the argument that the color of burnt bronze is white. So I think that's very important to point out, because we're dealing with brainwashing, and how much of an oxymoron is that, you know? But you see, this is, like you said, this is the tradition, or you know, this is the frame of mind that we're brought up to believe religiously, and it is damaging to us. A lot of people are you can show them knowledge or try to lead them to information that'll help lead their minds, and they can look at it with their eyes and say, well, yes, I agree, but I'm sorry, I can't give Jesus up.
Okay.
You know, it goes that deep.
It's quite deep.
But
go ahead.
But just to go on, looking up to historical figures like George Washington, who put our ancestors in slaves and probably raped them. Well, we also know that George Washington, if you did get a chance to look at the Hidden Colors documentaries, they said George Washington also pulled the teeth out of his slaves and made his own dentures from pulling the teeth out of his own slaves. So we shouldn't be surprised of all the inhumane things that people that they glorify here in this society have done to African people, to colored people, to black people all over the world. And you see, we mindlessly and senselessly continue to carry on to the tradition and observing their holidays. You see all these people, George Washington,
You're talking about European holidays.
European holidays, George Washington, Christopher Columbus, all these people that we know now were actually rapists and warmongers. We're celebrating their holidays. So where does the senselessness end?
Where does it end?
You know, where does it end? And we don't want to create on our own holidays for people like Malcolm X, for people like Huey P. Newton, who actually had a plan, or for people like Marcus Garvey, who actually had a plan in our direction and a genuine love for black people. We don't want to listen to them for some reason. That's because we're psychologically damaged. And we're in a terrible condition in our minds due to this brainwashing.
Talut, he says something about, reference to what you said, the brutality, the murder, and he says probably figures like George Washington raped them. But the history books are replete with instances of rape of African women by the slave master, Baruti. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Replete with that. Here's something else, Talut, and then you want to say something about it too, Omar. Believing that integration was a sign of progress for black people and not an era where black institutions were destroyed and left for dead. Talut.
Well, you know, if we take a look at today and use today's standards, then along with these murders and killings and brutality over this country on black Americans, did we actually make any progress at all? Has any progress been made? The question should obviously come back no. Can we right back where lynchings are taking place? And the one thing we have to understand too is that Adolf Hitler and the SS, it wasn't the South that they're saying gonna raise again. You know, it's Adolf Hitler. See, when you look at the type of mentality that these police officers have who have been killing black people, they have been merciless. They show no sign of humanity, no sign at all of being human beings, because they're soldiers. They're SS soldiers in camp in the United States of America police departments. This is Adolf Hitler. These things, when you go back and look at those films of how they treated the Jews, how Adolf Hitler and his SS squad treated the Jews during World War II and World War I, you'll see the exact same mentality in the United States Police Department, and those policemen are in fact acting like soldiers. They have no compassion. See, in the European army, or Western army, a great soldier is someone who displays merciless ambition. They don't see the human being, they see figures. And they bring them down and they walk on them. And just keep bringing them down and walk on them. That's a Western warrior. That's the exact same thing we're seeing in the police department. Okay? We're just looking at how we're looking at the start of how Adolf Hitler and his troops ended up killing millions of people. Okay? So, we're at the start of it. War has been declared on us.
Yes.
And we're acting like, okay, when they gonna stop?
Right.
That's the question we ask them. When they gonna stop?
Right.
It's war on us. And when you look at it and you pay attention, these killings are graphic. That's intentional. They're graphic. They're not just shooting somebody. They shooting 200 rounds into a corpse. They are beating our people like you beat ground beef into hamburger. Just beat them and then stand back. Okay, so we have to see this in a different way. We can't keep looking at it as just police officers out here gone astray. No, there's a systemic effort in this. There's a methodology that's being enacted on us. And it's actually designed, I'm telling you, it's the exact same thing Adolf Hitler and his troops did. It's designed to cause the American people to become callous and insensitive. The next step is killing multiple people at one time. Do that for a while, and then the people get harder and more callous and more insensitive. Then you can kill 1,000, and you can kill 50,000. You understand? We have to see this thing as war on us, and we have to act as if war is on us. We can't just walk around looking for someone to stop these insane people. These people are crazy.
Omar, this is going to continue until we do something about it. And while you speak to that, say something about number 22. I'm going to read it again, the one that Talut just addressed. And I'll repeat the question. This is going to continue until we do something about it. And number 22, the one Talut just addressed. Believing that integration was a sign of progress for black people and not an era where black institutions were destroyed and left for dead. I'd like for you to address that because this is definitely an area of your expertise and experience as well.
First, I'd like to say the opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily the opinions of our sponsors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
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 One of our sponsors is Lily's Gourmet Bakery. You can find our products at Kroger, at Poplar and Highland, Kroger at Poplar and Mendenhall, Kroger at Poplar and Kirby, Poplar and Houston Levy, and the Kroger store in Collierville. And also PA Solutions. If you want to have a beautiful graphics for your business to promote what you're doing, you can call PA Solutions. The number is 901-216-8676. With that said, let me express the view and opinion.
Right. Rightfully so.
Rightfully.
I'm like Dr. Talut. We are in war. And unless we wake up and realize that, then we won't be here. We will not be here.
That's exactly right.
How can you consider integration a blessing from the man that killed us, lynched us, slaughtered us, burned us, beat us? How can you consider integrating with him anything but a cursing? You want to try to get away from somebody that's murdering you.
Absolutely.
You want to run the other way, not integrate into his house and get closer to him. What you should have done in the beginning was not just 40 acres and a mule and $100 is what they said they were going to give us. You should have asked for a few states and a team of mules and some money to operate your own economy so you can get away from the madman. But instead, we were psychologically damaged, and they call it the Stockholm Syndrome, where you are trying to get closer to the person that's brutalizing you, hoping that you'll get him to see you as being another human being and love you, because right now you know he does not. And you found Jews in that predicament. They were trying to get close to the Auschwitz, to the Hitlers, trying to please them and trying to let them know that you're different, you're good, that you're a human being, and they shouldn't treat you like that. And if they just look at you as a human being, then they will treat you different. It's not going to happen.
Not
no way.
You're dealing with a cold-blooded killer, and it's not just killing us. If you look at his history, his 6,000-year history, he has killed millions of his own people.
That's right.
I'm looking at the history of the church right now. I'm studying the history of the Christian church and the Catholic church. They have killed millions of their own people to establish those religions that they give us. Those religions are dripping with blood. How can you integrate with them and consider you've done something? What you've done is you're committing suicide if you stay with it.
I want to say something once again about my cousin Betty Wyro at the Referral Center Incorporated. Is a fully licensed and is your connection to real estate brokers in Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Georgia, and Alabama. She says that if you're thinking of buying or selling a home or investing in real estate properties, call her, Betty Wyro, at 901-323-8003 or 901-758-5666. I want to say something about this mental damage, psychological damage. It's a serious problem for African Americans in terms of being brutalized by someone who cares nothing about you and you